Good morning. I'm here today with Jeff Swain from Homewatch Caregivers. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, Jeff, can you tell us what your role is at Homewatch Caregivers?
My role at Homewatch Caregivers is I'm the owner with my wife, but I'm also the chief bottle washer and basically do whatever needs done to help our team.
Right. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Homewatch Caregivers provides?
Very good. Homewatch Caregivers is a private duty in-home caregiving company, agency. And for 10 years, we have decided that our mission is to help keep our parents out of nursing homes. And with that mission in mind, we achieve that by helping with bathing, dressing, toileting, if that's necessary, but just as important, things like meals and light housekeeping and walking the dog and playing pinochle and really anything that will make our clients feel more independent and a higher sense of well-being. So it's in-home non-medical care is a clinical name for it, and that simply means help with hands-on personal care as well as things around the household.
Right. You know, and I looked at your website, and that list goes on, things that I never even would have thought of. So it's a
Yeah, and I think that's
list.
what we do with our clients when we start with them. I said this yesterday. You know, there's a fairly defined list. You could make it of bathing, dressing, toileting, meal preparation, transportation, etc. But the fun part is when they think outside the box, cliche wise, and think about, hey, you've got this person here to help. If you need a package for your grandson delivered, have this person take it to the post office for you. So think about, we ask the clients to think about things that give them a sense of independence and well-being, and we're there respectfully to help them get there.
Right. Now, it's interesting how you got into the whole in-home care business. Perhaps you could tell us a little about that.
Well, before I started the business, I was a family caregiver, so to speak, for my father. 83 years old, I guess, is when I started becoming a caregiver. And I wasn't an everyday caregiver by any means, but he'd ask me to pick up the groceries and can you come over and fix this plumbing thing or whatever that might be. Well, one day we got a call from the emergency room about midnight saying, your dad's in intensive care. He may not make it through the night, so you better get over here quickly. So my wife Sue and I headed over there, and this is how the progression went. We got there and the doctor said, we don't think he's going to make it through the night. That was a lie, that didn't happen. The next morning the doctor said, he is never going to be living independently. Well, that too also didn't occur. And then the social worker, when we said, what's next, she handed us a list of nursing homes. And I was astounded by the lack of choices and frankly the lack of a customer-centered orientation on the part of the workers in the hospital. So after looking at some other options for a business, this really resonated.
Right. So it's personal for you.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's, we started the business because of a business point of view and what we thought was a successful segment. But I'm amazed at how much I love to speak to the seniors and our clients and get into that part a lot more than I thought I would.
Maybe since we're talking about the seniors, is there a time you can think of when you've had a special occasion where there's just been one client who's needed services above and beyond and your caregivers have provided that?
Yes, Catherine, I can think of a time when a client that we had, an older woman, she happened to be very wealthy and sometimes difficult. We took care of her during the day and made some meals and did a number of things for her. Well, we have 24/7 on-call service, so one of the managers, including me, is always on call. The phone will ring, our personal cell phone will ring if somebody calls any hour of the day, 24/7. So Carrie Idema, one of our team members, was on call, and at 3 a.m. the phone rang, and it was Mrs. B, I'll call her, and she said she's in the emergency room, can you come over? So at 3 a.m., Carrie, without any hesitation, got up and went to the emergency room and held her hand and advocated for her and was there for her. And she was there until 10 a.m. that morning, for 7 hours, I guess, until Mrs. B got admitted. So that really says a lot. It's kind of an extreme story, but it says a lot about how we know that in this business, with clients with high expectations, you got to be all in. You kind of can't be average, because there's a lot of competition in our segment, as you know, Catherine.
Right, and speaking of competition, you know, what is it about Homewatch Caregivers that you believe sets you apart from the other in-home care providers?
Well, thanks for that question, because again, I'm a businessman, and we need to have points of differentiation, or we might as well just go home.
Sure.
What we have sought to do is to have a customer service model, not a clinical medical model. And I guess what that means is we really don't want to make our clients feel like patients. We think that's the last thing most people want to feel like. And we think some of our competition may have a nursing, clinical, maybe a bit very strict philosophy on treating them like they're a patient and they need to be approached in the same way maybe nurses in the hospital approach a patient. We take it as far away from that notion as possible, to treat our clients like clients. We say like the boss. That's what they deserve. They're paying good money, and they better be treated like a respected client and nothing less. As an example, I guess we have a policy for our caregivers where they can't wear scrubs. So imagine you're in the mall with your caregiver and she's got scrubs on, walking around. That's not a tremendous amount of dignity.
Sure,
so
right.
that's truly what I think is we've worked hard on, and I think it's been responsible for a big part of our success.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, thanks for coming in today and speaking with us. It was Jeff Swain from Homewatch Caregivers.
Very kind. Thank you, Catherine.